My name is Ava Montgomery, and I'm 33 years old. But nothing in all my years prepared me for the night my twin sister showed up at my door, broken, trembling, and barely able to breathe between sobs. It was a cold Thursday evening in downtown Chicago, around the time the city lights start to glow like bruised stars against the sky. I had just taken off my shoes, relieved to finally be home after a long day in the office, when I heard a soft knock. Not urgent, not loud, just defeated, like someone knocking because they had nowhere left to go. I almost ignored it, honestly. I wasn't expecting anyone, and my neighbors usually text if they need something. But something, intuition, instinct, a tether I thought had snapped long ago, pulled me toward the door. When I opened it, I swear the world tilted sideways. Olivia, my twin, the other half of me, the girl who once shared my birthday cake, my secrets, my childhood dreams, now standing there like a collapsed version of herself. Her right cheek was swollen, turning purple around the edges. Her lower lip was split. Her hair was messy, tangled, like she had run through the wind or been pulled by it. And her eyes, usually the soft hazel mirror of mine, were empty. Ava? She whispered, and her voice cracked like glass under pressure, a sound I have never forgotten. My breath caught in my throat, and for a moment I just stared, frozen between panic and heartbreak. Then I reached for her. Liv, oh my God, what happened? She collapsed into my arms before she could answer, her body shaking so violently I could feel her bones rattle. I held her, stroking her hair like I used to when we were 14, and she cried over boys who never deserved her tears. Except this time, it was her husband, Daniel. I didn't need her to say his name. I could feel it in my gut like a cold hand wrapping around my spine. I guided her inside, helped her sit on my couch, and grabbed a warm towel. She winced when I gently pressed it against her cheek, but she didn't pull away. She looked so small, so fragile, nothing like the confident, bright-eyed girl who had always been described as the stronger twin. And then she whispered the words that changed everything. Ava, she whispered, he hit me. Just 3 words, but they detonated something inside me. Anger, fear, guilt, all tangled together. I had warned her. I had told her Daniel had a darkness in him, something controlling, something possessive. But she believed he loved her. She believed marriage would fix him, and she believed I was just jealous. Now she was sitting in my apartment, broken because of the very man she defended. I knelt in front of her and held her hands. You're safe here. Tell me everything. It took her a long time. She kept twisting the ring on her finger, the same ring she once showed me proudly, the same ring I knew I could never look at the same way again. He got angry because I went to see Mom. He said I shouldn't go anywhere without telling him. He accused me of cheating, Ava. Cheating? With who? I don't even leave the house. She laughed, but it was the saddest sound I'd ever heard, like hope collapsing. Then he grabbed me. He said he was tired of repeating himself. He pushed me against the wall and her voice faded. I felt sick. Not angry, furious. Furious at him, at myself for not fighting harder, at our parents for loving him more than they loved the truth. Yes, my parents. Because they adored Daniel. They saw him as the perfect gentleman with a stable job, a nice smile, and a family background that made them proud. They never saw the way he isolated Olivia, the way she stopped laughing as often, the way she withdrew from me over time. They never listened when I said something was wrong. They said I was overreacting, that I was reading too much into things because I wasn't married yet and didn't understand. Hearing her story now, seeing her broken face, I felt an old resentment flare up, one I had buried for years. But this wasn't about me. This was about her. Liv, I said softly, brushing her hair from her face, you're not going back there. She shook her head fiercely. "I'm not," she said. "Ava, I want to report him. I want to leave him. I want to ruin him." Her eyes met mine with a fire I had never seen in years, anger mixed with desperation. "But I can't do it alone. He'll twist everything. He always does. He'll say I'm unstable. He'll get Mom and Dad on his side. He always does." And that's when she said the words that shifted our lives onto a path of deception, revenge, and consequences neither of us could predict. She wiped her tears, took a shaky breath, and whispered, "Ava, will you switch places with me?" And before I could process what she meant, she added, "He can't tell us apart. No one ever could." My heart stopped completely, and that's where the real story begins. For a moment, I thought I misheard her. Switch places? That was something we joked about when we were kids. Trading seats in class, confusing boys at summer camp, swapping outfits just to see who our parents would scold for leaving the fridge open. But this was different. This wasn't harmless fun. This was danger, real and breathing and too close to both of us. "Liv, what are you talking about?" I whispered, my voice barely steady. She squeezed my hands hard, her nails digging into my skin like she was afraid I would disappear. "Ava, please listen. He hurt me, and he's going to keep hurting me. He thinks he owns me. But he's terrified of you. He won't admit it, but I know it." I blinked, confused and stunned. "Terrified? Of me?" She nodded. "Because you're the only person who ever stood up to him. You're the only one he can't manipulate, and he hates that." I couldn't deny that. Daniel avoided me every chance he got. I could feel his discomfort when I entered a room, the way he smiled too tightly, the way his eyes darted around when I spoke directly to him. I always knew he was hiding something dark beneath his polished surface. Olivia took a shaky breath. "Ava, I need you to go to the house. As me. I need you to look him in the eyes and make him confess. Record him. Catch him threatening you. Catch him admitting it. Something. Anything. Because he'll never let me go unless someone exposes him." My heart pounded so hard I could hear it echo inside my skull. "Olivia, that's insane. It's dangerous. What if he realizes it's me?" She shook her head. "He won't. Ava, we're identical. The only reason he could tell us apart before was because I acted scared. You won't." She wasn't wrong. Growing up, teachers, cousins, even our own grandparents mixed us up constantly. It wasn't until middle school that we started using different hairstyles just to make things easier for other people. And Daniel? Well, Daniel only ever saw what he wanted to see. "Ava," she whispered, her eyes filling again. "I need you. I don't have anyone else." That sentence, that one sentence, it broke something inside me. Because it was true. She didn't have Mom and Dad. They would take Daniel's side before they even heard her speak. She didn't have close friends anymore. He had isolated her from them long ago. And she didn't have anyone at work because he made her quit her job to focus on the marriage. I was all she had left. And she was all I had left too, even if she had forgotten that for a while. I exhaled slowly, fear curling in my stomach, but something stronger rising above it, determination. "Okay," I said quietly. "I'll do it." She broke down again, this time not from fear, but from relief. She threw her arms around me, sobbing into my shoulder. "Thank you. Oh God, Ava, thank you." I hugged her back, my mind already racing. I needed to look like her, dress like her, sound like her, and move like her. And I could. I knew her better than anyone. For the first time in years, that twin connection felt like a weapon, sharp, powerful, dangerous if used wrong. I pulled away and gently lifted her chin. "But you're staying here," I said firmly. "You're not going anywhere near him, not until this is over." She nodded, wiping her face. "I brought some of my clothes in the bag. I didn't know if you'd say yes, but I hoped." After letting her shower and change into something comfortable, I went into my bathroom alone to prepare. I stared at myself in the mirror. Same eyes, same nose, same face. But Olivia always held herself differently. Softer shoulders, gentler expression, timid, almost apologetic. I practiced it. The softened gaze, the slightly hunched posture, the way she tucked hair behind her ear when she was nervous. By the time I finished, even I felt unsettled by the reflection. I looked like her. I moved like her. I felt like her. And that scared me more than anything. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Olivia asked from the doorway, her voice trembling. I turned around slowly, letting her see the transformation. She gasped and covered her mouth. "Ava, you look exactly like me." "Good," I said, grabbing her handbag, "because tonight he's going to think he's talking to his wife." I didn't tell her I was terrified. I didn't tell her my hands were shaking so badly I had to hide them in the pockets of her coat. I didn't tell her that a part of me wondered if I was walking into a trap she didn't even realize she had set. Instead, I hugged her again before leaving. "Stay inside, lock the door, don't answer for anyone but me." She nodded like a child, fragile and hopeful. I stepped out into the night, wearing her life like a costume. The cold air hit my face, grounding me, but also reminding me of the danger ahead. I walked toward the house she shared with Daniel, my heart pounding harder with every step. When I reached the porch and lifted her hand to knock, something in me hesitated. What if he knew? What if he was waiting? What if this wasn't just about protecting Olivia, but about uncovering something much darker? I knocked. The door opened. Daniel stood there, eyes sharp, expression unreadable. And then he smiled slowly, too slowly. "Olivia," he said, "finally." And in that moment, I realized he wasn't surprised at all. He was expecting her, expecting me. But why? The moment Daniel said, "finally," a chill crawled across the back of my neck. The way he looked at me wasn't how a husband should look at his wife after supposedly storming out hours earlier. His eyes were too calm, too focused, studying me like he was waiting for something specific. I forced myself to breathe slowly. Olivia would have looked down, avoided eye contact, maybe apologized under her breath. So I did the same. I'm sorry," I whispered, trying to soften my voice the way she always did around him. He smirked, stepping aside to let me in. As I walked past him, a faint scent of whiskey lingered on his breath, mixed with the expensive cologne he bought to smell like a man who deserved respect, as he once bragged during a family dinner. Inside, the house felt colder than I remembered. Everything was spotless, almost unnervingly so. Daniel was obsessive about order. A crooked picture frame could trigger a lecture. A misplaced sock could start an argument. The living room lights were dim, casting long shadows across the marble floor. "Rough day?" he asked, casually, shutting the door behind us with a click that sounded too final. I nodded, keeping my posture tense and small. "I just needed some air." He walked past me, picking up a glass from the kitchen counter. "You always need something," he said flatly. His tone, sharp enough to cut, made my stomach twist with anger, anger that wasn't mine alone. I sat on the edge of the couch, exactly how Olivia would. Quiet, nervous, careful. Daniel leaned against the counter, arms crossed. You left without your phone. Do you know how disrespectful that is? I swallowed hard. I didn't mean. You never mean anything, he snapped, setting the glass down harder than necessary. I tell you simple things, basic things, and you can't do them. My hands tightened in my lap. I reminded myself this wasn't about proving a point. This was about exposing him, getting something, a confession, a threat, a slip, anything. Daniel, I murmured, I just needed space. His eyes flicked up sharply. Did your sister put that in your head? My chest tightened. He was fishing, testing me. I shook my head quickly. No, because every time you talk to Ava, you come back acting like you're better than me. The irony almost made me snort, but Olivia would never do that, so I lowered my gaze. I'm not better than you. No, you're not. A long silence settled between us. I needed him to keep talking, to get angry enough to say something he couldn't take back. So I leaned into Olivia's vulnerability. Daniel, can we just talk? His jaw flexed. For a moment, I thought he would snap again, but instead he laughed, dry and humorless. You want to talk now, after ignoring me all day? I bit the inside of my cheek. I wasn't ignoring you. Then what would you call it? I forced my voice to tremble. I was scared. That made him pause. His eyes narrowed. Scared? Of what? My heart thumped in my chest. This was the opening, the perfect moment. Of you. The room went so still I could hear the refrigerator humming. Daniel straightened up slowly, pushing off the counter. Scared of me? He repeated, stepping closer. I kept my breath shallow, like Olivia would. You yelled. You grabbed me. You hurt me. He tilted his head, studying my face with unsettling calm. You're being dramatic again. Daniel. No, he said, voice low and controlled. I didn't grab you. I held you because you were hysterical, and if your face got bruised, that's on you. My pulse jumped. I needed more, needed him to incriminate himself. I let my voice shake. You're lying. He froze, and the smile that spread across his lips was the kind you'd see on a man who enjoyed breaking things. Say that again, he whispered. I swallowed hard. You're lying. In 3 steps, he was right in front of me, too close. His shadow swallowed mine. You really think I'd let you talk to me like that after the things you do? I blinked. What things? A shift in his eyes, guilt maybe, or something like fear. You know exactly what I mean, he said, turning away. You think I don't know where you go? Who you talk to? You think I don't know when you're planning something? My blood ran cold. Planning something? Did he know we switched? No, he couldn't. He had no reason to suspect it. Still, his words clung to me like smoke. Daniel, what are you talking about? I asked softly. He faced me again, expression unreadable. You've been acting strange for weeks, nervous, secretive. Do you really think I haven't noticed? Inside, my mind raced. What had he seen? What had Olivia done? He walked closer again, lowering his voice. You think I don't know what you're up to? I tried to stay calm, but the tension was suffocating. I'm not up to anything. Liar, he whispered. The word hit me like ice water, and then he smiled, slow, creeping, dangerous. But don't worry, I'll find out eventually. I always do. His smile widened. But first, we're going to have a real conversation tonight. And as he reached into his pocket, my blood froze. Because he wasn't pulling out a phone. He was pulling out a key I had never seen before. A key to something he hid from Olivia. The small silver key glinted under the warm kitchen light as Daniel dangled it between 2 fingers, almost casually. But nothing about the way he held it felt casual. It felt intentional, like he wanted me, Olivia, to see it. My heartbeat thudded in my ears, but I kept my breathing shallow and controlled, just like my sister would. "What's that?" I whispered, letting my voice tremble. He rolled the key across his knuckles, a slow, practiced gesture that made my skin crawl. "Something I've been meaning to show you," he said. "Something important." I shifted on the couch, my palms beginning to sweat. "Daniel, please, I'm tired. Can we just talk tomorrow?" His head tilted at an angle that made my stomach twist. "Funny," he said softly. "You weren't too tired to walk out of the house without telling me. You weren't too tired to run straight to Ava again, were you?" My breath caught, and I kept my face blank, not shaking my head too quickly, not defending too fast. That was Olivia's mistake. She defended too fast, she explained too much. I simply lowered my eyes and said nothing. He walked him on the couch slowly, like a shark circling a boat. "You're hiding something from me," he murmured. "I can feel it, and I'm done being patient." The key clinked softly as he closed his fist around it. I swallowed hard. "Daniel, what is it for?" He leaned in so close I could smell whiskey and mint gum. "Our basement." I blinked. "The basement isn't locked." "Not that basement," he whispered. A cold shiver ran down my arms. "I don't understand." His smile widened, cold, triumphant, chilling. "Yes, you do." Fear prickled along my spine. I searched Olivia's memories, our conversations, her stories. She had never once mentioned a second basement, never mentioned a locked room, never mentioned a key. So why did he think she knew? "Daniel, I really don't know what you're talking about," I whispered shakily. "You're lying again." His voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. The quiet anger in it was far more terrifying than if he had shouted. "You forget something, Olivia," he said, tapping the side of his head. "I know you better than you know yourself." My jaw clenched. "No, you don't. You never did." "Come on," he said suddenly, stepping back. "Get up. You're coming with me." "Where?" "To the basement." My breath hitched. If that hidden room was something dark, something dangerous, what if he locked me in? What if he hurt me thinking I was her? What if Olivia herself had never seen it because he never wanted her to? "Daniel, please, I just want to sleep." He grabbed my wrist, not violently, but firmly, like a man showing possession rather than temper. "We're going downstairs, right now." My pulse hammered in my throat. This was going wrong, fast. If I went down there, I didn't know what I'd find. But if I refused, he could become violent. And I couldn't break character. The entire plan depended on him believing I was Olivia. So I forced myself to nod. "Okay," I whispered. He turned his back and walked toward the hallway, giving me a sliver of time to think. Should I go? Should I run? Should I pretend to faint? Should I fight? None of those options felt smart. And then my salvation came in the form of a vibration in my pocket, Olivia's phone, a notification from a contact labeled AM. It lit up the screen just enough for Daniel to notice from the corner of his eye. He turned slowly, suspicion tightening his face. "Who's that?" he asked, nodding toward the phone. My stomach dropped. "It's nothing," I whispered. "A work reminder." He stepped closer. "Show me." I backed up before I could stop myself. "Daniel, show me." His voice hardened like stone. I needed to think fast. A.M. Ava Montgomery. Me. It was the message I had sent her earlier before leaving, a simple check-in. "Message me if you need anything." If he saw that, if he saw the name, he'd know I had her phone. He'd know I wasn't Olivia. He reached for the phone. I backed up again, bumping into the wall. His eyes narrowed, and the air between us tightened like a rope. "Olivia?" His edge in his voice was sharp enough to cut. Why do you look like you're hiding something? My heart slammed against my ribs. I couldn't let him take that phone. I couldn't let him see her screen. I couldn't risk everything falling apart in minutes. So I did the only thing I could think of. The only thing Olivia would never do. I looked him directly in the eyes, steady and unbroken, because I don't trust you, I said quietly. His face changed instantly. Confusion, anger, disbelief, all clashing at once. "What did you just say?" he whispered. And I knew right then I had slipped. Deeply. Fatally. Because those were my words, not Olivia's. Daniel stepped back slightly, narrowing his gaze as if seeing me for the first time. "Who are you talking to right now?" he said softly. Too softly. I froze, because that wasn't anger in his voice. It was realization. Cold, creeping realization. And then he whispered, "You're not acting like my wife." Daniel's words hit me like a punch to the gut. "You're not acting like my wife." My stomach twisted, my palms went clammy, but I forced my breathing to slow. I kept my posture stiff, just like Olivia would have, nervous, timid, careful. I had to keep the act alive. One slip and the plan, all of Olivia's hope, everything we had worked for would crash. His eyes scanned me from head to toe, suspicious, calculating, searching for something he couldn't place. "Daniel," I said softly, voice trembling just enough to sell the act. I don't understand. I am your wife, aren't I?" He paused, his face unreadable, jaw clenched. "I know what I saw today," he said. "You didn't run to me. You didn't cry in my arms. You looked different. I don't know how to explain it. Different." That word was like a knife in my chest. He was already questioning, already smelling deception. I forced my hands to grip the armrests of the couch, keeping my eyes cast downward, and let a small, shaky sigh escape me. I guess I was scared," I whispered. "I didn't know how to face you." His lips twitched, a tiny, dangerous smile forming. "Scared," he said. "That's convenient." He moved closer, circling me like a predator testing his prey. I reminded myself that fear was our weapon too. Used carefully, it could manipulate him, make him stumble over words. But he wasn't stumbling. He was calm. Too calm. He stopped in front of me, leaning down slightly, his face so close I could feel the heat of his breath. "You're hiding something. Something big." I swallowed hard, my heart hammering. "Daniel, I'm not hiding anything." He chuckled softly, low, slow, almost frightening. "Not hiding anything?" His hand twitched at his side. "Not hiding that you've been talking to her?" I froze. Her? My pulse hit the ceiling. He knew. He knew she had gone to Ava. But how much did he know? I couldn't speak, couldn't even nod. My brain scrambled for any excuse, any lie, but words caught in my throat. Daniel leaned closer, face only inches from mine. "You think I'm stupid?" he whispered. "Do you really?" I blinked, trying to maintain Olivia's fragile, fearful posture, hoping he wouldn't realize it wasn't her. He straightened and paced the living room slowly, as if thinking aloud, muttering in a voice too soft for anyone else to hear. "I knew something was off the moment you left today. Something in your eyes, your voice, everything. I couldn't put my finger on it." His hands clenched behind his back. Then he stopped suddenly and turned to face me fully. "You don't scare easily, Olivia. Never have. So why now? What are you hiding?" My stomach dropped. He knows. He's always one step ahead. I kept my face blank. I could feel my pulse racing. I had to stall. "Daniel, please," I said softly. I don't want to fight tonight. Can we just talk calmly? His eyes narrowed, piercing, but he didn't answer immediately. He was too busy observing, studying, trying to find a crack in my act. I could feel my hands trembling slightly, and I had to press them against my thighs to stop them from betraying me. My mind raced. If I could just make him angry enough to confess, I could record it, catch him admitting the abuse. But if he caught me first, I didn't want to think about it. He took a slow, deliberate step toward me, eyes never leaving mine. Calmly, he repeated, voice low and dangerous. We don't do calm, Olivia. Not in this house. Not when you lie to me. Lie. That word cut deep. My chest tightened. I'm not lying, I whispered. His gaze sharpened, and the calmed, collected air he had carried for so long began to crack. Then prove it, he said suddenly. Prove you're not hiding anything. Show me your phone. Show me every message, every call, everything. Or you're done pretending. My heart froze. Show him Olivia's phone and he'd see her messages to me. Show him anything and the plan would unravel. But I couldn't refuse outright. I had to stall. Daniel, I can't, I whispered, trying to sound hesitant, fearful. I just can't. Not tonight. He tilted his head slowly, a dangerous smile curling on his lips. Ah, he said softly. Finally, fear. That's real. That's the Olivia I know. And now we play. My blood ran cold at the words. We play? Yes, he said, voice low, deliberate, almost a hiss. We play, because I know something you're not telling me, and I will find out. I always do. He stepped back, pacing again, muttering under his breath, and that's when I noticed it. The small digital recorder on the counter, blinking faintly. Olivia had left it there earlier, maybe by accident, or maybe deliberately. My mind seized the opportunity. If I could activate it, record this confrontation, maybe I could finally expose him. But it was a gamble. One wrong move and he'd know. One wrong move and everything could end. My heart hammered. My palms sweated. I had to make a decision. And then Daniel stopped pacing and faced me again. His eyes were sharp, piercing, unreadable. He reached toward the counter. And in that moment, I realized he might already know. Daniel's fingers hovered dangerously close to the recorder on the counter. My heart stopped. If he picked it up, if he inspected it, he would know. He would realize it had been moved earlier. He would know Olivia anticipated something. He would know someone else was inside this house, someone bold enough to play him. But then something shifted. He didn't touch it. He flicked his eyes at it, then at me, and smirked. Like he wanted me to know he had seen it. Like he wanted me to panic. He stepped away from the counter and walked toward the staircase instead, unhurried, confident. I'll be right back, he said. Don't move. Every instinct in me screamed to run, to grab my bag, grab the recorder, escape through the back door. But I stayed. Because the only thing more dangerous than defying Daniel was letting him come back to find me gone. I listened to his footsteps thud slowly up the stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then silence. He wasn't walking anymore. He was listening, testing me, waiting for the slightest sound to prove I wasn't where he told me to stay. I stayed still. Completely still. My lungs burned with held breath. A minute passed. Then another. Finally, I heard a door creak open somewhere upstairs, maybe their bedroom, and drawers being pulled open violently. Daniel was searching for something. What? I didn't know, but it bought me a few precious seconds. I exhaled quietly, my chest trembling. I had one chance. Just one. I leaned slightly toward the counter, inch by inch, keeping my breathing quiet. My fingers brushed the recorder just slightly enough to tilt it toward me. Another sound upstairs. A thud. A muttered curse. I pressed the tiny button. The smallest click, barely audible. The recorder started. Thank God. I moved back to my seat, keeping the same posture, hands folded on my lap like nothing had happened. My heart thumped painfully in my chest. Moments later, heavy footsteps thundered down the stairs. Daniel returned, but this time, he wasn't empty-handed. He was holding a small notebook, Olivia's, the brown one she used to hide in the kitchen drawer, the one she swore he never found, the one she wrote everything in. My breath caught. He tossed it on the couch beside me. The pages fluttered open, and there, in Olivia's shaky handwriting, was the truth. I'm scared. I think he will kill me. My throat dried. Daniel stared at me with a strange, unsettling calm. You want to talk about lies? He asked softly. Let's start here. I inhaled slowly, my pulse racing. Daniel, I wrote those because I was overwhelmed. You know how I get. You get anxious, he corrected, not terrified, and not enough to write this. He flipped through pages violently, reading line after line of Olivia's confessions. This isn't anxiety. This is paranoia. This is planning. This is betrayal. Every page he turned made my stomach twist tighter. He knew. He'd known for a long time, but he had waited, watched, collected everything, and now he was using it. He slammed the notebook shut. Tell me, he said quietly, why were you planning to leave? My mouth opened, but nothing came out. I couldn't lie. I couldn't tell the truth. I couldn't breathe. Daniel stepped closer, closing the distance between us in 2 strides, leaning down until our faces were inches apart. I'll give you one chance, Olivia, he whispered, voice trembling with barely contained rage. One. I swallowed, my throat tight. I wasn't planning to leave. I just needed space. You were overwhelming me. Overwhelming you, he repeated slowly, as though the words tasted foreign. So now I'm overwhelming. I'm the problem. Do you hear yourself? His voice rose, but not in a scream. Worse, in the low, cold, deadly tone. I work, I provide, I protect. And what do I get in return? A wife who spies on me? A wife who talks to people about me? A wife who writes? He taps the notebook. That I might kill her? Tears burned behind my eyes, but I couldn't let them fall. I had to stay in character. I had to be Olivia, the silent, frightened Olivia he expected. But then something in his face changed. His eyes softened, but not in a comforting way, in a dangerous way. It's okay, he said softly. It's okay if you got scared. It's okay if you got confused. You're not well, Olivia. I've always known that. My heart thudded painfully. Confused? Not well? This was the narrative he planned to use against her, against us. This was how he'd trap her by rewriting her fear as instability. He brushed a strand of hair behind my ear, the gesture gentle but chilling. I'm not angry. I just want my wife back. The real you. My stomach flipped. He knows something is wrong. His hand moved from my hair to my wrist, gripping it lightly, almost tenderly. Look at me. I lifted my eyes slowly. His gaze pierced straight through me. That day you screamed at me, when I put my hands on you, you cried a certain way. You begged a certain way. You looked at me like I was the only person who could save you from yourself. His grip tightened. But now, tonight, he leaned closer until his lips brushed my ear. You're not Olivia. My blood turned to ice. I didn't move. I didn't speak. I didn't breathe. Daniel slowly released my wrist, only to place his hand on my shoulder, holding me in place. Who are you? He whispered. And where is my wife? My heart stopped completely. My mind went blank, my breath locked in my lungs, and for a second, the world became a blur of static. Daniel's words hung in the air like smoke I couldn't outrun. You're not Olivia. He didn't shout it. He didn't accuse. He observed it. Calm, controlled, certain. Like he'd been waiting for the moment to confirm what his instincts had been whispering all night. I forced myself not to react, not a flinch, not a twitch. Daniel, I said softly, you're scaring me. What are you talking about? But he only smiled, a slow, terrifying, knowing smile. I know my wife. Every breath, every tremor, every fear she's ever tried to hide from me. She breaks a certain way. She folds a certain way. You, he tilted his head, studying me like a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit. You stand differently. You breathe differently. And you look at me like you're not afraid of me. He was right. Not about everything, but about that. Olivia feared him. I despised him. And that difference, just that, was enough to expose me. I swallowed tightly, trying to reel him back into uncertainty. Daniel, you're imagining things. You're stressed. We both are. Let's just talk. Your voice, he cut in. Even that, it's steadier. Olivia stutters when she's scared. My stomach twisted. He wasn't guessing. He wasn't suspicious. He knew. He stepped closer, his eyes locked on mine, searching for a crack in the lie. So I'll ask you one more time, he whispered. Who are you? My pulse pounded in my ears as my brain raced for an answer. I couldn't run. The door was behind him. I couldn't fight. He was stronger. I couldn't call for help, not without him snapping. So I did the only thing left. I pretended to break. I let my eyes water. I let my shoulders shake. I let my voice tremble. Daniel, please, I don't know why you always think the worst of me. I came home because I wanted to fix things. I wanted to try again. I'm trying. For the first time that night, he hesitated. Just slightly. He tilted his head again, analyzing me, comparing memory to reality. Maybe, he murmured. Maybe I'm wrong. You look like her. You sound like her. And people change when they're desperate. Desperate. That was Olivia's reputation in his mind. I lowered my gaze, letting my hair fall forward, like Olivia always did when she was scared. Can we please sit? I don't want to fight. My voice broke perfectly on the last word. He inhaled slowly. Fine lines of doubt crawled into his expression. He wasn't sure anymore. Not fully. Good. Good. I could work with that. He stepped back slightly, not enough to give me space, but enough to think. Why did you come back tonight, of all nights? Because you nearly killed her, I wanted to scream. Because you snapped and she ran to the only safe place she had, me. Because she trusted me to protect her. But I forced my breath to hitch. Because I miss us, I whispered. Because I want us to be okay again. He watched me carefully. too carefully. His eyes scanned every movement, every blink, every micro expression. "So," he said quietly, "if you want us to be okay, you need to be honest with me, Olivia." He sat down on the couch, eyes never leaving mine, and then he patted the cushion beside him. "Sit." My stomach dropped. This was how he cornered her, how he trapped her, how he controlled her. I moved slowly, my legs shaky by design, and lowered myself onto the couch next to him. I kept my body small, shoulders curled inward, another Olivia trait. Daniel reached out and took my hand. Cold, firm, possessive. "Now," he murmured, "tell me where you were earlier, and don't lie. I'll know." My mind raced. He was fishing. He didn't know where Olivia had gone or who she was with. If he did, he wouldn't ask, he'd simply attack. So I leaned into that. "I went for a walk," I whispered. "A walk?" he repeated, eyebrow raised. "For hours?" I needed to think. "Think about what?" "You." He swallowed. His grip softened. I saw something shift in his eyes. Ego, pride, the twisted version of love he clung to. "So you weren't meeting anyone?" he asked sharply. "You weren't talking to anyone about me?" My heart steadied. He didn't suspect me. He suspected her. "No," I whispered. "Just me, just my thoughts." He watched me carefully, too carefully. His eyes scanned every movement, every blink, every micro expression. "Then why," he asked softly, "did you move my recorder?" I froze. Not outwardly, not visibly, but inside, everything seized. He knew. He knew it had been touched. "Recorder," I repeated weakly, brows furrowing. "What recorder?" He smiled again, that cold, patient, murderous smile. "The one in the kitchen," he said, "in the exact same spot, every day, the one I check every morning, the one that was turned just slightly tonight." My lungs tightened. "She didn't know," he whispered, "but you did." His fingers slid from my hand to my wrist, same spot he grabbed earlier. "You're not my wife." His voice was cold now, certain, final. My mind screamed at me to run, but my body stayed still. "Where is she?" he asked quietly. "And what did you two do?" I opened my mouth to answer, stall, lie, something, but before I could speak, he stood up slowly, eyes locked on mine. "I think it's time we end this little game," he said softly. He reached behind the lamp table and pulled out something metal. A phone? A tool? A weapon? I couldn't see yet, but I knew. Whatever was coming next, I wasn't getting out of this house without a fight. The object in Daniel's hand gleamed faintly under the warm hallway light. My breath caught when he lifted it fully into view. Not a weapon, not a phone. Something far more terrifying in his hands. A key fob. Their car key. He twirled it between his fingers with a slow, eerie calm as he walked back toward me. "Do you know what I realized tonight?" he asked lightly. "That if Olivia ran, she didn't run far." My heart hammered. He was planning to search for her, to drag her back, to finish what he started. I stood up slowly, forcing my legs not to tremble. "Daniel, please, we can talk. Let's just—" He stepped forward sharply. "Sit down." I didn't move. His eyes narrowed, a muscle twitching along his jaw. "You think you can stand up to me?" he asked quietly. You think you're smarter than me? You think you get to lie to me, walk into my house, touch my things, and just leave? His voice cracked mid-sentence, not from weakness, but from rage he couldn't contain anymore. You're not Olivia, he whispered again, stepping closer. You're her sister. My blood ran cold. He knew. Not fully, but enough. What did she tell you? What lies did she feed you? That I'm a monster? That I hurt her? That she's a victim? I inhaled shakily. Daniel, she didn't lie. You... Shut up. The sound thundered through the living room. Pictures rattled on the wall. For the first time, I saw the truth in his eyes. Not confusion, not suspicion, but fear. Deep animal fear of losing control, losing his image, losing the person he believed he owned. He paced like a caged animal, running a hand through his hair. Everything I do is for her. I give her a perfect life. I protect her from herself, from people like you, yes, you, who fill her head with nonsense. I didn't fill her head with anything, I said softly. She came to me broken, terrified. His head snapped toward me. She's always terrified. That's who she is. And if she trusted you more than me, he stopped, chest heaving, then you did this. You ruined her. He walked closer again, too close, his voice a whisper now. Where is she, Ava? He said my name. My real name. The lie was dead. The mask was off. Every muscle in my body tensed. I shifted my weight slightly, preparing to run if I needed to. Daniel's lips twitched into a sickening, almost pitying smile. You think I won't hurt you because you're her blood? I think, I whispered, you won't hurt me because this time, you're being recorded. His body froze, just stopped. His eyes flicked instantly toward the kitchen, the counter, the recorder. He lunged. But I was already moving. I sprinted toward the kitchen, grabbing the recorder just as he reached the doorway. He grabbed the back of my shirt, yanking me violently, but I twisted out of it, nearly falling as I slid across the tile. He reached for me again, but I darted behind the island, keeping it between us. Daniel, stop, I shouted. Give it to me, he roared. No, this is my house. And that, I lifted the recorder, shaking, is evidence. He froze again, his entire body going still as he processed what I had said. Then his voice dropped, low, cold, final. You're not leaving here with that. He grabbed a knife from the block. My breath vanished. He wasn't thinking anymore. He wasn't planning. He wasn't calculating. He was unraveling, threads snapping one by one. I backed away slowly, my heart pounding so hard I felt it in my teeth. Daniel, listen to me. He took one step forward, then another. I held the recorder tight to my chest. If you hurt me, everyone will know. Everyone will come looking. Olivia will talk. The police will come. This house will be searched, and they will find everything. His hand twitched around the knife. You don't want that, I whispered. You want control. This is the opposite of control. For a moment, an impossibly long suspended moment, I didn't know what he would do, whether he would drop the knife or rush me. Then, headlights flashed through the front window. A car. Stopping. Daniel turned his head sharply. I took the chance. I bolted. He lunged, grabbing the edge of my jacket, ripping it off me as I slipped out of his reach and sprinted toward the front door, fumbling with the lock. Behind me, I heard him shout, Ava! But the door flew open, and standing outside was Olivia. Eyes wide, face pale, breathing hard. Behind her, not far, two neighbors stood. An older couple I recognized vaguely from earlier years, frozen by the sight of Daniel in the doorway with a knife in his hand. He froze too. Everything stopped. The wind, the shouting, the spinning panic. Olivia stepped forward, voice small but steady. Daniel, she whispered. It's over. And for the first time all night, he looked terrified. The neighbors moved closer. The porch lights flipped on across the street. Movement, witnesses, reality. Daniel lowered the knife. His shoulders slumped. Something inside him broke. And that was the end. The police came minutes later. They took the knife. They listened to the recorder. They listened to Olivia. And when Daniel realized there was no version of this story where he came out clean, not with his neighbors watching him corner me, not with Olivia sobbing on the porch, not with the bruises he left on her skin, he didn't fight. He didn't speak. He just sank into the back of the patrol car with a vacant stare. I stood beside Olivia, wrapping an arm around her as she shook. It's okay, I whispered. You're safe now, I promise. She cried into my shoulder. I thought he was going to kill you. I thought so too. But we were alive, together, free. In the weeks that followed, Olivia filed charges, filed for divorce, moved in with me, and began therapy. I did too. Not because I was broken, but because I needed to understand how we were raised to accept so little love and call it loyalty. I learned boundaries. She learned her worth. And together, we rebuilt our lives piece by piece, slowly, painfully, beautifully. Now when I look at her, stronger, brighter, healing, I realize something. Saving her saved me too. And if there's one thing I want anyone listening to this to know, it's this. You are not crazy. You are not dramatic. You are not overreacting. Fear has a source. And sometimes walking away is the bravest thing you'll ever do. Have you ever experienced betrayal or emotional manipulation like this? Share your story in the comments.